Hey guys, what's going on? This is Lurkin from Mobalytics at you with an Lash build with the new unique Paingorgers. So I'll talk about Paingorgers briefly. Um, so anytime you damage an enemy with a non-basic skill, it marks them for 3 seconds, and then when you hit them with the basic damage echoes. So the whole idea of this build is stacking attack speed, basic skill damage, so that the echoes are huge and you're echoing a lot. So this build utilizes Raiment, the new Paingorger's gauntlet you can get from the Beast in the Ice using Distilled Fear, Tibalt's Will, Asu's Boots. Just run a normal legendary helmet. I have the wrong helmet on, but you're going to want basic skill attack speed, total armor, cooldown reduction, and max life. Then you're going to want a dagger. I don't have one yet. They're hard to get. With int all stats, and then basic skill damage, and then any form of additive that you can get, like close damage, vulnerable, or critical strike damage. Next, we have a focus. This should be crit strike damage, cooldown reduction, basic skill attack speed, and basic skill damage. And the link will be in the planner, so you can just check all that out if you want to skip me talking and just get straight into the dungeon. Next, we just run a normal ring. The key thing here is you're going to need adaptability. They're pretty hard to get. It makes your basics do 80% more damage. You're going to want crit strike chance, max life, and then 2 additives that your build will utilize, like lightning damage or critical strike damage or close or vulnerable. Then we have Talrasha for 45% damage because we have cold, lightning, and fire on this build. And then next you're going to want an amulet. Typically you're going to want a passive such as you're going to either want Devouring Blaze or Conjuration Mastery. Either or is fine. And you're going to want total armor, cooldown reduction, and then either movement speed or a form of DR. I have all these specifics listed, like all the different flex affixes that you could put on gear and stuff. And then on your skill bar, you're going to want Lightning Spear. This applies the mark, and it stuns everything and makes it vulnerable. Then we take Ice Blades um, for cold damage, but we have Ice Blade enchant, so if you want to, you can put Ice Armor here. You'll have better survivability. We obviously have Teleport for Raiment stuns and movement, Flame Shield for going immune, and our fire damage. Then we have Unstable Currents and Arc Lash. And I'll go over the board real quick. So the board just starts off with Reinforced for 15% damage reduction with the barrier. Grab a bunch of max life, some all resist, and some non-physical. Then we take Elementalist because we're reliably doing fire and cold and lightning damage, so we get a 15% damage both there per enemy. Grab some non-physical and some all resist. And then we grab the DR from elites. That's really important. It's a value of like 20%, so it adds up. We take Tactician here, so 10% more damage after we use a defensive. And we're teleporting a lot, so that's good. And the big thing here is it buffs our burning damage and also our DR burning, which is huge. I ended up taking a lot of DR vuln on here. I just really wanted to make this thing tankier because I'm not going to be running Ver's Mastery on this. And then we take Enchanter just to buff up our non-physical so that we can max out our Frigid Fate here so that we do 30% more damage to vulnerable enemies. Our next board is going to be, it's actually Ceaseless Conduit. We're going to take Destruction for 194% crit damage. Then we grab some lightning damage up here. And then we just take the minimum in Flame Feeder so that we do 10% more damage to all the enemies we make burning. And then we grab some stun damage and we end up meeting the Rex there. And then our last board is Searing Heat. And right now I have Exploit. So here you can take Exploit, or I'm going to slot Territorial so that I'm tankier. So just pick one, whether you want more damage or to be tankier. And then for our enchantments, it's Firebolt and Ice Blades. The cool thing about Firebolt enchant is that every single time that Firebolt ticks, what it does is it applies the Paingorger's mark. Because I don't exactly know why. I think it really shouldn't be working because it is a basic, but it's working. So you can hit something with just Arc Lash, and then the second the Firebolt enchant ticks, then they become marked. So you can Raiment stun packs, and then everything's marked. And then we take Ice Blade enchants to knock off our cooldowns. And then for our for our aspects, you're going to want Disobedience on the helmet. If you end up getting Shaco, you can remove Tibalt's for triple DR and armor chest pants with Disobedience. We're going to take Conceited on the wand, And then right now I'm using the second version, so there's two variants of this. One uses Ancient Flame and Asu's Ferocity, because Asu's Ferocity is bug. You're going to get crit damage from it. I'll show you right here. So you're going to get 25% crit strike damage against enemies, and then Asu's Ferocity is bugged so that it's working with everything else. Not entirely sure why, but until then we're rolling with it. So this is the Ancient Flame version, so I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you the Overflowing version in the next dungeon. So this gives me 50% attack speed, and in the planner I have in the in-depth section I have like an infographic that shows you the 2 attack speed buckets. I'm not going to get into it. So this one's the super fast attack speed bucket, but worse cooldowns. And then we have adaptability here for more basic skill damage, and then we take rapid up here. You can put Ancient Flame or rapid up there, and then the normal version will not have Ancient Flame. It will have Shredding Blades for increased vulnerable damage. So armor potion, just because my armor rolls are a little low, and we just upgraded. We just did the new patch, so this attack speed's really crazy. We just did the new patch, so now suppressor should be a little less of an issue. So I chose the suppressor dungeon. But as you can see, we're just cruising along. I'm definitely feeling this Ancient Flame version. I'm definitely feeling the lack of the cooldowns. But these suppressors not being as oppressive is really nice. So just make our way, try and find where we're going here. Hopefully there's a boss in this dungeon so that I can really showcase the attack speed. This is like the more speed farmy variant because of the attack speed. Definitely like the boss killer version. And to do that, you can really just have like a swap wand or something, so that you have like Shredding Blades on one wand and then Ancient Flame on another, and then all you have to do is swap a passive. But let's just try and cruise our way to these fallen idols. Really liking Lash this season. I definitely think it's very strong. It's chewing through everything. Let's see if we can get an event. Yeah, we got one. Nice. So this will showcase it pretty well. And it's honestly that besides survivability issues, like level 154 enemies don't stand a chance against this. As you can see, unfortunately, the unstable currents, the stuff that spawns from unstable currents, does not proc the Paingorger's mark. So it's just but when a lightning spear comes out or a chain lightning comes out, the firebolt enchant will proc it, so that's what's huge. So everything gets marked with firebolt, and then everything just shreds. So this almost has as much AoE as Blizzard. I definitely think it stands toe-to-toe with it, but I think Blizzard's just safer, and definitely the star build this season. And then, so when we run the overflowing version, it's gonna nuke. It's not gonna nuke, but the cooldowns are gonna be a lot better. That was unfruitful for finding our objective. Whenever it gets dicey, just use your flame shield. Evade whenever possible, because you get a bunch of crit chance from it. Try and show after if I can get an elite kill here. Right here. So let's kill this elite, and then we're going to evade, and we'll check here, 43% crit chance. Standard evade alone, 34. I think we kill this guy and we're Gucci. Nope. Oh, we do have a boss. Very nice. And our unstable currents is about to come back up. I think he's just back here in the center. Yeah, he is. So boss damage, this isn't a barb. It's not too stellar, but it's not terrible. That guy got nuked. Let's just start upgrading something else. Start working. So we're going to go to Saragar. I'm going to dump all my gear off, and then I'm going to go straight into another dungeon with the other variant. Because there's two ways. Yeah, there's two ways to play this. So what we're going to do is we're going to, because I don't have a swap piece right now, we're going to get rid of Ancient Flame, and we're going to put on Shredding Blades. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll go and we'll change our passive from Asu's Ferocity to Overflowing. You can run Verse if you want. It's just a cooldown issue. Like the Overflowing with the Ice Blades together, really, you just really start stacking up Ice Blades, and it's just a vicious feedback loop. Alright. Let's try and find a good one here. Knockout. Champion's Demise is too long. Not a Death Pulse. Not a Death Pulse. Let's do this Rhymescar Cavern. So it took me a little bit to finally like dial in the build. It went over a few iterations, some Ball Lightning enchant stuff, and I ended up just going with the Firebolt and the Ice Blades. And we kind of took the best of both worlds. So it still shreds. Just have less attack speed, but she's going. So either way you want to spec it, doesn't really matter. But as you can see, like we already have our unstable currents back. So I think this version is the one that everyone's going to want to run. The version that I recommend running. The Ancient Flame one's just kind of cheeky. And that'll probably eventually get fixed. Well, Ancient Flame will always work, but the crit damage from Ancient Flame will eventually get fixed. So I'm like almost hesitant to slot it into builds. Or if I do, I want it to be a variant. I don't want it to be the main one. I don't want it to be the reason why the build works. But as you can see, this is just absolutely blasting content. Basically just use your skills whenever they're on cooldown. Try and save your... Because we don't have ice armor, you got to be a little bit better about your cooldowns. So you got to try and save your flame shield when you actually need it. Cast your lightning spear, mark everything, group them up. I love these cavern type dungeons, it's super fun. I feel like I can just kind of like cruise around. I gotta find an ice barrier. Nah, that's okay, we'll use a shrine. I was hoping for an event. I think events are a really good showcase. Speaking of. They really showcase the killing power and also the survivability of something. Hopefully, I wish this artillery shrine would go away, because it's kind of... it's cheesing it. Alright, it's finally gone. But... I don't know what they intended with Paingorgers, but Firebolt enchant proccing, it's really nice. And just, it's almost like a Blizzard build with the AoE. Just you hit one thing and just random stuff is dying. Definitely S tier for Source. We don't have any super busted builds like Barb, but we're making do, and it's clearing the content that we're given just fine. It's just with all Source builds, you're gonna suffer in four-man scaling for bosses and stuff, and it just is what it is. People ask a lot for source builds that, like, I want something that one-shots, and it's like, sorry, we don't have that. Alright, let's see how this performs on a boss without unstable. You should be able to get it back pretty quickly, though. So this is no unstable currents, boss burn. Not terrible, not amazing. Try and see what kind of damage numbers we're getting. We get some higher damage numbers, 711,000. You get upwards of 1 million and stuff. So yeah, I'm lurking from Mobalytics. Thanks for watching. Give it a go, and you'll be able to one-phase Duriel by yourself with this build. You'll be able to kill Lilith, and this is definitely, especially with the overflowing and your teleport raiment, this is a Helltide farmer. You're gonna cruise through them, because when I was running Blizzard, it just wasn't as fast. Sometimes the enemies can take a little bit to die, but this is a Helltide farmer. All right, stay easy, guys.